Yeah, I'm about to give you my predictions. What I believe that's going to happen in the Danny Garcia Errol Spence fight, and who I think going to win. It's it's something very important that both guys are saying in this fight. Both guys want to dictate the pace of the fight. They believe that's going to be the key to victory. Both guys want to dictate the pace of the fight, but with this fight, it's a few key things that both of these guys must keep in mind. With Danny like to Danny like to Danny like to be on balance. Danny like to stay. Danny like to stay. Danny like to stay flat footed. So when Danny flat footed, he can get his power off with his right and his left. He can get both. He can get both shots off if he stay flat footed. So by him, the key for him staying flat footed is if he throw a punch and and he make you miss, he can hit you with the left or he can hit you with the right. By him staying flat footed, his weight is distributed evenly. So that's all he gonna use his head. He gonna time you with his with a head movement. If you throw your shot, he gonna slip it, and by him being flat footed, he can hit you with the left or the right hand. That's his key to success. But since he fighting against a southpaw, since he fighting against a southpaw, what Earl Spence will have to do, Earl Spence will have to keep. Errol Spence gonna have to keep his foot, keep his lead foot on the outside of Danny's lead foot, the block off, the block off, the block off that left, block off that left side, block off that right, I mean that left side, so Danny won't be able to throw. If he do miss, Danny won't be able to catch him with that powerful left hook. So Spence gonna have to keep his guards up. Spence gonna have to keep his guards up and watch out for throwing the same type of shots over and over and over again because he keep throwing the same shots over and over again. Danny going to pick up on it, slip, and catch him with that left. But since he's a southpaw, he just going to have to make Danny get out of that. He going to have to he gonna have to make Danny pick up his feet. And I believe Errol Spence going to dictate the pace of the fight. He going to have to make Danny pick up his feet, and by doing that, he going to keep him on the outside. I believe Spence right jab is going to neutralize Danny Garcia jab. I believe Danny Garcia going to have to do something with Earl Spence jab because if Earl Spence stay on the outside and his right jab gonna neutralize gonna neutralize it's going to neutralize Danny Garcia jab, and I believe once Earl start landing his overhand rights, it's going to open up his left hand real early. So I believe he gonna be able to press Danny and also stay out of range and also make Danny have to pick up his feet and come forward. And once you make Danny pick up his feet and come forward, he loses his advantage. So that means he's going to come forward, slipping punches, and also catching Earl Spence offense. And I believe that's going to lead him to the disadvantage. I believe Earl Spence right jab will be the key to this fight. I believe it will make Danny do things that he's not comfortable doing by coming forward, making Earl Spence miss and being first. He can't. I don't believe he never seen Danny be the aggressive plus stay flat footed and be able to slip all these punches and what makes his encounter. He's not going to be able to do all that. That's all Earl Spence have to do is press him behind the jab and stay out of range. And that's gonna make Danny have to come forward, and that's gonna make him lose his advantage of catching Earl Spence with a right, because that left is not going. I believe as Earl's keep his feet on the out, keep his lead foot on the outside. That left hook is not going to be open anyway. So I believe the jab is going to be the key, and that's why I believe they saying they're going to dictate the pace behind the jab, and Danny going to have to come forward, which going to give up all his advantages, staying flat-footed, countering. And that's why Sean Porter. That's why Sean Porter didn't. That's why Sean Porter didn't throw a whole lot of punches against Danny Garcia, because you risk running because that's all he would do. He wouldn't fire with you. He will wait till you fire, time you, and get you out of here. That's why Sean Porter didn't throw a lot of punches with him, and that's why Keith Thurman didn't throw a lot of punches with him. Thurman started off early with Danny Garcia, pressed him, and then once he realized what Danny was trying to do, Danny was catching his when Danny caught his timing and his rhythm, and Danny was still staying flat footed, was gonna catch him with the left or the right. Keith Thurman start fighting on the outside. Keith Thurman start running around the ring, fighting on the outside. Danny dangerous with the flat feet. People saying he flat footed and Herman the Monster, but those flat feet is dangerous because he got good timing. And he got a decent jab. So Danny is more technical than what people think he is with those flat feet. He actually know what he's doing. That's how he was able to catch Zab Judah with those flat feet. You throw the punch, he timed you. But what Earl Spence had to do is keep his lead foot on the outside, stay behind his right jab, and open up his offense on the left side by throwing jabs, by throwing a straight left hands down the middle, overhand lefts, and keep that right jab popping, and keep the range and keep the range. Keep jumping out of range. Let Danny keep jumping out of range. Let Danny come forward. Let Danny come to you. Let Danny come to get you. Then you use your southpaw angles. You use your southpaw angles to run him into trouble. I see I see Errol Spence. I see Errol Spence's right hand being a key to this fight. Him keeping range and dictating the pace, and Danny Garcia is going to run Danny Garcia into a whole lot of problems. It's going to make Danny have to come forward, get out his comfort zone. I don't see Danny being very effective coming forward trying to fight Errol Spence. He could because he didn't do that against Sean Porter. He didn't want to open up like that against Sean Porter, and I don't see him open up like that against Errol Spence. He stayed safe in his comfort zone against Sean Porter. So I believe he's gonna stay safe against Errol Spence, because I believe Errol Spence hit harder than Sean Porter. So I believe Errol Spence's right hand is going to be the key. If he maintain his range, and stay up and keep on hitting Danny with that lead right, it's gonna open up and keep his position, his feet on the outside. Is Danny left hook is not going to be there. Danny counter is not going to be there. That's going to take Danny out his comfort zone. I see Errol Spence staying safe and try to catch him with something. Catch Danny with something late. And might try to stop him late. Try to catch him something late. But I see Errol Spence either winning by a crazy knockout, or beating him up, or Danny want to just play safe, is beating him on the scorecards, beating him up bad, and beating him on the scorecards. That's my key. Errol Spence by 12 rounds, 12 round decision. But if Danny get crazy and come in, if Danny get crazy and come in and try to force the pace, I could see him. I could see that left. I could see Earl beating the hell out of him with that left hand. Support the channel.